How did the Romans go from literally living in huts near a river to controlling pretty much the entire world? Today, we're going to delve into the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. This is one of my favorite topics and way messier than most people think. The origin story starts in Italy around 2,700 years ago. It sounds completely made up, like a movie, but the Romans believed it. Two twin babies abandoned at birth, left out in the wild to die. But instead they get raised by a wolf, a literal wolf. One of them, called Romulus, ends up killing his twin brother, who then goes on to found Rome in 753. So right from the very beginning of their empire, it was built upon violence. At the very beginning, Rome was nothing special, just another settlement surrounded by enemies. But what made them different, and for what would come, was their mindset. They didn't just give up when they lost a battle. They'd get absolutely annihilated within the first few years, and then come back smarter. They would pretty much analyze what worked for their enemies, copy that, fix it, and try it again. Eventually Rome ditches kings and becomes a republic, which is a pretty big deal. No single leader, instead you've got a senate, an elected system. That system, it worked. Rome, over the years, slowly starts expanding, then it progresses faster and faster. After years, they run into a serious problem: Carthage. This wasn't just another enemy, this was a proper rival. This is where things get interesting. Carthage had this general, name was Hannibal Barca, like a hectic name, and he literally marched an army, including elephants, over the Alps. Like, imagine yourself as a Roman soldier seeing an army of elephants with soldiers approaching. It'd be terrifying. And for years since then, Rome is still on the back foot, losing badly. But this is kind of Rome's thing. They're the type of civilization that just outlast you. They eventually turn it around and wipe Carthage out. There's basically no one to challenge them. But then, this is where it starts to change again. Because once Rome starts getting power, it also starts to get messy. There's more money, more land, more influence, and more people to become greedy. Generals start becoming less loyal to Rome and more loyal to their armies, and this is where you get people like Julius Caesar. He was an absolute legend in battle. People loved him, but that is the dangerous part. The reason for that is he's gaining too much power too fast. So come 49 BC, Julius Caesar basically states, yep, I'm taking over, and a civil war erupts. He wins, and just like that, the Republic is practically done. But the crazy part is, he doesn't even get to enjoy it. In 44 BC, he was assassinated. A group of senators, including his main friend, Marcus Brutus. After all that chaos, Rome finally stabilizes under Augustus. This era is where Rome peaks, like properly peaks. It's an era called Pax Romana. Basically, they had 200 years of relative peace. During this time, Rome becomes insane. It basically stretches from Britain all across Europe, into the Middle East, and even down into North Africa. This is where they started conquering. They built roads everywhere. Some we even still use today. They built aqueducts and massive cities wherever they went. How about their army? Pretty much untouchable at this point. Rome isn't just powerful at this point, they're permanent. But underneath all that, as many good things are, nothing can last forever, and things start slipping. The empire itself starts to get too big, and you start getting leaders who just aren't strong enough. Some of them only lasted months before getting killed, and this is where the economies started dropping. Prices started going up, people were struggling, and the army itself started to decline. Instead of Romans for the army, they start hiring outsiders, which on paper sounds fine, but those outsiders don't care about Rome itself. Then the pressure starts building from the outside, and people start pushing into Rome's territory. One of the big enemies was the Visigoths in 410 AD. They do something no one thought was possible. They completely sack Rome. After nearly 800 years of feeling untouchable, they're finally done. At that very moment, it breaks something, and it's just a slow decline down. More invasions take place, the instability increases, until finally, in 476 AD, the last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, is removed. And that's it. What we know as Rome is gone. But what's interesting is Rome itself didn't just vanish, it stuck around. The ideas, the laws, the architecture, the politics, it's all still part of our world today. They had such a huge influence that it's carried through. So yeah, Rome fell, but in a way that never truly left. And as always, if you like this kind of history, don't forget to chuck us a like and follow. I've got loads more on the way from different civilizations around the world. Cheers.